Good morning and welcome to the March 12th edition of the SoloCast. Let's get right down to it and jump right into baseball. We are in spring training now, a little bit into it, and I would like to talk about the three teams that I think that really have a chance to actually win the World Series. I know people like to talk about futures, but these are the three that I think will win it all, or have the best chance. They're all in the American League, the Detroit Tigers, the Texas Rangers, and the Los Angeles Angels. All three made big splashes in the offseason, trying to upgrade and move past the competition. The aforementioned Texas Rangers have been in the World Series the last 2 years in a row, but quite haven't cashed their ticket. The Detroit Tigers have a huge upgrade offensively with Prince Fielder. I expect them to be a little bit better defensively, actually. I think Cabrera is going to work out pretty well at third. I think our outfield defense is going to be a little bit better. We're getting rid of Meglio Ordonez and replacing him with some younger guys. And I think Fielder's going to be all right at first. I look for an upgrade at second base, and Peralta is highly underrated at shortstop, and we have an all-star catcher who is also a power bat, batting left-handed. The Angels obviously made big moves, taking C.J. Wilson away from their divisional rival, so that's addition by subtraction there. And also adding this guy, Albert Pujols. I'm sure you've heard of him. So I'm looking for a more healthy club. They have a deeper rotation now. But the team with the most interest to me actually is the Texas Rangers. I don't know if you followed Yu Darvish or not, but he has pinpoint control. At least 7 different pitches, and he's probably going to be the best number 2 or 3 starter wherever they end up slotting him in all of major leagues. I am a little concerned with the health of Napoli because at times he is the straw that stirs the drink for them. But they're deep enough. Michael Young's happy. Hamilton's playing for a contract situation. So I'm expecting a lot of good things from them this season. The Phillies, I don't see as much of a contender because they lost Oswalt. The lineup is aging. They signed Rollins instead of getting younger shortstop. Polanco's getting older. And Howard is going to be out for who knows how long. They tried to poo-poo his injury and say he wasn't having a setback, but he has a massive infection. And who knows when he's going to get his bat speed and timing and everything back. So I'm looking for them to be slow out of the gate, and it's going to be enough for them to not be true contenders. Now I'd like to talk about some of the future wagers that I have personally made myself. The Oakland A's over 72. It's a very low number based on some expectations that they traded away a lot of talent. But the way I see this team is they might be a little slow out of the gate, but they do have a lot of young talent. They've traded for some phenomenal prospects. And I think they're a team that's going to play spoiler down the stretch and be hot later in the season. And I think 72 is a pretty low hurdle, and they will get over that. The Washington Nationals over 83, and that's now at 84 at LVH after I made my wager. And what I see from them is a dramatic reduction in runs against. So that's what you're looking for when you're looking at year-over-year handicapping, and is the team going to be on the rise or on the decline? If you're going to be on the rise, you have to score more runs or give up less runs to improve your differential and Pythagorean expectation. And I see a slight uptick in runs scored with Jason Worth having a decent year. Zimmerman's looking good. Bryce Harper is going to be a great addition in the lineup and provide some much needed punch for that team. Adding Gio Gonzalez, phenomenal deal there. Also adding Edwin Jackson. Now, the thing about Edwin Jackson is he's going to be a money pitcher for us in the first part of the season. But if you look at his overall statistics and how he's performed year over year again, he fades later in the season. So the value is on him earlier on in the year. Oakland, their situation is very interesting. They have a surplus of young talent, but they do have a lot of outfielders at the major league level right now. So I anticipate sometime before they break camp that they're going to start dealing some of those extra outfielders for talent in other areas that they really need. Probably third base, who knows. I would like to talk briefly about Yoenis Cespedes. He's somebody who I've been following for quite some time. He is the real deal, as evidenced by his first game. He is patient enough to take a walk from Cueto, which said a lot to me. He's patient enough to swing his strikes. Everybody knows that he's going to have problems at the major league level with breaking and off-speed, change-up style pitches, but he's a patient hitter. So he took the walk. His second at-bat was an RBI single, and then he slapped a homer. What I like about his swing is his easy power. If you compare it to like Prince Fielder's trying to hit every ball 500 feet plus, okay? A very, very, very violent swing. But if you look at Cespedes in his swing, he's just trying to put it over the fence. He's not trying to hit it 500 feet. Sometimes it might go that far, but he's just trying to put it over the wall. Very easy power, very easy swing, and his home runs come naturally. They're not forced, so that's pretty impressive. I look for him to develop somewhere as a 3-4-5 hitter. I'm sure they'll start him out at 4 or 5, but near the end of his contract for 4 years, I think that he's going to develop into quite a nice 3-hole hitter with a high average. Now, moving on to spring training and the handicapping, what teams right now are overperforming compared to their regular season expectations? There are teams out there that just do well in spring training that are way over what they're going to perform in the regular season win percentage-wise. I like to isolate, find those teams, and wager on those because those are the ones with the most value. Right now, two great examples are the Toronto Blue Jays, who are 7-2 and playing great ball, really high power ranking, really high offense. They're pitching pretty well, but they're not going to hit anywhere near that in the win percentage for the regular season, so the value is now. The Seattle Mariners had a jump on the season, as well as the Oakland A's getting ready for the season because they have their 2-game set in Japan. They have benefited from that greatly, and they are 7-3. Once again, outperforming what I think they're going to do in the regular season, obviously. I want to look really quick at the National League Central, and the team to beat, in my opinion, is not the defending world champions, but actually is the Cincinnati Reds. Once again, I'm trying to look forward in my handicapping, not backwards. They have an MVP candidate and previous winner in Joey Votto, and I believe that he is the best bat in the division. They play in a pretty friendly ballpark, and they have a formidable rotation now with Bronson Arroyo, the trade for Latos, Leak, Cueto, Bailey, and now being stretched out as a starter is Aroldis Chapman finally. He should have been a starter all along. That's his game, and he's going to provide some serious heat and a different look, which is going to provide a great contrast to pitchers like Bronson Arroyo. It's going to play out well. They have the offense, they have the pitching. Their infield defense is a concern to me, but overall, I think that they are the most powerful team in the National League Central, and I believe they will win the division. One thing that I start early on in spring training is trying to find my under-the-radar pitchers that are going to have a lot of value. It's easy to bet Justin Verlander at minus 200, minus 210, minus 220. But to find great pitching at much better odds and a better value so that we mitigate risk over the course of a season. Those pitchers that I'm looking at now, the aforementioned Latos for the Reds, he is somebody who looks like he is picking up his control. I think with Dusty Baker and a better manager, he can handle his temper because he is kind of an emotional guy and that kind of gets the best of him at times. Somebody I've been following for quite a while is Drew Pomeranz. He was acquired by the Rockies in the Ubaldo Jimenez trade, and he is going to have a lot of value, especially on the road in the pitcher-friendly parks that are in the National League West. Jeremy Guthrie, also on the same staff, a great addition from the Baltimore Orioles. Justin Masterson, who I think is going to really be the true ace of the Cleveland Indians, by far and away their best pitcher. He's tall, he has a nice release point, good accuracy, decent fastball. The Indians are going to go as far as he can carry him. He is definitely the number one pitcher, but being on an under-the-radar team, I think he's going to have a lot of value when they play those larger market teams. Trevor Cahill for the Diamondbacks, another addition there. All these pitchers here are going to be, besides Masterson, are going to be backed by decent offenses. I think with Cahill being on the Diamondbacks, he's going to get a lot more run support. He's going to be able to pitch to contact a little bit more, hang into games, play later, and have a career high for wins this year. Also, Doug Fister for the Detroit Tigers. He's probably going to slot in as their number 2 pitcher. He was 3-12 with the Mariners, and after the trade, he was 8-1 in the regular season with the Tigers. Now, this is a guy who has really worked hard. He's really starting to mix his pitches. Now that he's getting some better coaching, his location is better, his peripheral stats will improve, but I look for a record for him for, once again, actual wins. Somebody in a series who's going to be pitching behind Justin Verlander, who's always going to be major juice. Doug Fister is going to be always at more reasonable odds. So I look to back him quite a bit this season, once again, with a very, very, very powerful offense. The last division that I want to talk about, losing a little bit of power overall, but still always an interesting race, is the American League East. Now, once again, I try and look forward, not backwards, and my projected winner of the division is the Tampa Bay Rays. They have a very, very, very deep pitching staff, probably 7 or 8 starters deep going back into the minors, and that is what you really need over the course of a season. Nobody gets by with 5 starters. You need at least 7. Every team started at least 7 starters, and half the teams had over 10 starters over the course of a season, so you need depth to really carry you through, okay? The other thing is the Yankees. Everybody's expecting a lot out of them with the addition of Pineda and the subtraction of A.J. Burnett. Some interesting moves I thought was getting rid of Bartolo Colon. Bartolo Colon and Freddie Garcia pitched well enough to really carry them and get them to that high win total that they had last year. Bartolo Colon is now in Oakland for some reason. I have no idea why the Yankees did not renew it. But they brought in Hiroki Kuroda, who's coming from the National League and pitching in the National League West to the powerhouse American League East. I think that his ERA is going to skyrocket. I think that playing against more power lineups and no strikeouts against pitchers is going to really inflate his ERA. And he is not going to be the $10 million man. And the smart thing the Yankees did was just sign him to a 1-year deal. The thing about Michael Pineda in that trade was, if you look at Pineda's stats, he's similar to Edwin Jackson in the fact that he was great earlier on, but then faded off as the season progressed. I don't know if he had too many innings on his arm or what his situation was, but already in spring training, his velocity is down dramatically. His fastball right now is resting around 91, 92, when he was throwing 96, 97, well, 95 comfortably, I would say, for his fastball. So a decrease in velocity. They're messing with him, trying to get his changeup. He's a young guy. I know he's not going to have confidence in it, throwing it in game situations. And I'm not looking for the huge expectations that everyone has for Pineda this season. I think that he's going to be a winning pitcher. I don't think he's going to be a solid number 2 as you compare to all the other staffs. If you look at Fister and all the other great number 2 starters that are out there, I don't think that Pineda is going to compare statistically very well at all. I think that the Yankees have some young pitchers who are going to be very talented, but I'm assuming they're going to just deal them for aging veterans at some point, and they won't ever see the major leagues. Thus concludes the March 12th SoloCast. Go out there and make a lot of money.